Let's welcome Tarun Gupta, who is definitely, most of you all have already seen, he is a co-founder and CEO of CoinShift. He will be on stage. Okay, he is already joining us. Okay, lots of Tarun OP in the chat. Tarun, welcome to TPH.
Hello. So yeah, I think thanks for inviting me, and pretty excited to be here. So I
Thank you.
see like the lot of enthusiasm regarding this,
Yeah.
this around like all the sessions. So I'm pretty excited. Yeah, I'll go through this quickly. So I think you all of you have must have like read it in this time. So the first kind of DAO is not like something we identified like last 2 years. Like it was like mentioned specifically in an Ethereum white paper. One of the use case of smart contract platform could be this decentralized autonomous organization, and these three words are like way relevant, like why it is put like this. But in short, like the DAO formed, they raised like $150 million USD, and it's like a big kind of hack at that time, and the supply was like very limited at that time, right? Around 2016. And imagine like after a few months of the spawning, they just got hacked. And that was the major reason, if all of you know, like uh, the fork happened between Ethereum and Ethereum Classic, right? So that's why Ethereum Classic just believe like we are the OGs in this. And then the Ethereum just said like Vitalik proposed this, we should have like re kind of org of the entire blockchain. We can discuss this part later, but in short, the reorganization just happened, and then the Ethereum just got separated from Ethereum Classic. And Ethereum Classic will have like that kind of supply which got hacked, and Ethereum will spawn where the supply just got reimbursed in short. So that was the beauty, as well as a very debatable topic. But in short, that's how the brief history of DAO was there. And then now I think it's a good time to basic understanding like what why we are calling it a DAO or DAO. So in short, I just see it as a very internet native entity. So imagine you are sending emails through internet, right? It's very seamless. It's just based on SMTP protocol. How about you are just creating your bank account like this, right? Is it even possible? So if you are do if you can just spawn like an entity like this, in which you can just embed certain kind of rules, right? And those rules cannot be changed by one person, basically. And those rules can be verified easily by everyone. So that is the mechanics we really want to be in, like. So it's a white paper definition by Vitalik is like a virtual entity, a certain set of members or shareholders, which is like a typical organization look like. And with the some kind of majority, this majority was written at that time, but that's not how right now it is definitely working. But you have the right to spend entity funds as a common kind of group, and then everyone can just see it. And it's a very it's a very crypto native kind of way. You don't need any kind of email to really use the system. It's a mathematical based system. You just need a crypto wallet, and you'll be able to create your DAO or your virtual kind of entity. That is the beauty, I would say, like this. And there is one important word here is autonomous. So the autonomous means we need to understand is like, let's say if you decide certain thing, when the organization will decide certain thing, like this budget will get allocated to that specific group, so it should be autonomous. That was the initial side of idea. It should be autonomous. You are not saying, okay, we'll create like 5 members committee, and now the governance has decided like, okay, this fund should. When you decide, the vote passes, it should autonomously should send it. You can't just change that rule. That was the basic importance here. So it should be decentralized. No one can own it alone. It should be autonomous, right? These are very important things. So now I think we can just do like a quick kind of comparison between an traditional kind of organization where I've just explained, and then in a DAO. I think around 2020 we just saw like a great boom. I would say like how the compound protocol just launched this DAO governance, and we just saw like they have built like a very nice kind of framework which is called like a Bravo. That time, I think it was a Governor Alpha framework by Compound, and they just built this system where, okay, now the will launch a token which is like acting as a governance token to this protocol, and the community will have certain rights. So let's say you have certain amount of tokens of that comp, right, of Compound. You will be able to vote on certain actions, right? It's a very simple model. And then they added like this delegation kind of thing as well. Okay, now I'm not ready to vote, I don't have time to vote, you can choose your delegates. So that was built into the system when the first kind of this governance token kind of thing came. And then what we see as what was happening at that time is, then we see like, okay, everything will evolve around voting, everything will evolve around like, you need some budgeting, you'll vote around it. And that is a good part as a bad part as well, because if you really want to do certain things at a fast scale, you can't just do it like, every time. You can't just vote. That is not going to happen on a certain actions, and sometimes it's not even important, right? So how will you really I would say like create like a framework where you can just scale this kind of system, so that you shouldn't be like doing this. And then well, definitely like lack of standards. There are very basic kind of structuring was happening at that time. And in DAO 2, and that was the major kind of the first kind of wave we saw, like all kind of protocols like Uniswap, Compound, Index, all kind of protocol just did like a similar kind of model, where it just created like a governance token, and governance is basically now managing certain actions of the DAO. And what are those actions? What you need to do, if you really are curious about, you can just see. I'll share the links as well with the team, but you can just see their token economics, or when they are launching their token. So you can just see like introducing uni article from Uniswap to a team, and you can just see like from compounding when they launch comp, you'll understand what the governance rights are. If you have any questions, it's very transparent, you can just see that. And even there is a tool called with tally, you'll just see what kind of proposals are happening in these DAOs. So you will be able to just see everything in an open kind of fashion, like how the money is there, and what is the treasury look like, how it is going to allocate, and what are the committees they have spawned. So it's a very open kind of system. And then we face definitely a lot of challenges, right? When the decision making is happening from the larger governance, right? Everything needs to have like a voting system, and that is not going to scale, in short. And there are certain problems, right? Anyone can just pitch anything, and there is no kind of a proper framework, there is lack of standards. How will you really manage this new kind of primitive, basically? And then and last year I would say like uh we are learning, all of us are learning like in the space, and we just identified like, okay, certain good models from the web 2, or even I would say like how we should really decentralize this specifically. But we should have a accountability kind of mechanisms. We should have a very autonomous kind of things internally as well. So now you have larger governance, let's say, and then you create like multiple committees for certain actions, right? But you are doing it in a very open kind of way. So I'll just give you one more live example of it. So Uniswap has this larger treasury, and then they create this grants committee, which is like a subcommittee of a larger DAO. And every time this grants committee needs to get allocated some kind of budgeting, token voting always happens. But they just once time they allocate certain funds, it get deployed for certain number of months, right? That's how they're scaling their operation. But this information, how much Uniswap grants committee is getting, it's all public, right? So you can just see that in short. And if you are a uni holder, you can just vote it as well, right? So this is like a kind of model. And I'll not go deep here because there are more slides in understanding the DAO 2.0. But the best way to understand this thing is, it's like an open kind of model where you can just create multiple committees, and each committee will act like a certain action. And that if you have some accountability in place, obviously you'll manage like a DAO, right? And now what is happening, the network effects of this kind of system is, you can just grow like anything. If you just crack this game of creating certain groups who are accountable. It's a very important way of saying it. Like if the groups are accountable to the larger token community, right, then you'll create like a big network. It's not an organization anymore, it becomes a network. Because end of the day, every agent has certain rights to do anything with the system. So that's how, a lot of people just say DAOs will become a network itself. So that is not forkable. You can't just fork the network that easily, right? Once it achieves like a lot of network effects.